Welcome to a new Planetary and Seismic update. On the SSGI graph, we see magnitude 5.5 and larger earthquakes from the 9th to the 17th. And we see the cluster of stronger earthquakes, a very dense cluster on the 9th, 10th. It peaked magnitude 6.4, 6.5 in Indonesia. And I explained the sublunar geometries that we had on the 12th and on the 16th, and we see some seismic response there as well. Peaking 6.2 at the Kuril Islands on the 13th and magnitude 6 off the coast of Oregon. And the high lunar peak on the 14th, that was followed by two strong earthquakes, 5.6 Hokkaido, Japan, and 5.9 at the Red Islands. And if you look at these earthquakes, we had the 6-pointer off the coast of Oregon, and this is close to the Cascadia subduction zone. It doesn't mean that there is an immediate danger or immediate alarm for that area. However, there is seismic potential, magnitude 8.5, magnitude 9, and the last time that happened at the Cascadia subduction zone, that was in 1700, that is 326 years ago. Research showed us that average recurrence time of magnitude 8.5 and larger earthquakes in the area is approximately 240 years. And that means that we are within the window of a potential megathrust earthquake along the Cascadia subduction zone. Then we have the magnitude 5.9 at the Red Islands. That's east of the magnitude 8.8 that we had here in Kamchatka last July. And that comes on top of the activity to the south, continuous activity here at the Kuril Islands. As I explained, there is sort of a seismic gap between the 8.8 to the north in July and the 7.6 last December here in Japan. And this is a seismic gap. We see continuous activity here, so there is the potential for larger earthquakes, 7, maybe 8 at the Kuril Islands. I'm also concerned about Tokyo and the Nankai Trough because that's more to the south. While we had magnitude 6 earthquakes in Taiwan recently, this is also a seismic gap, and we've seen some increased activity in western Honshu, Japan. So this is also an area of concern. What stands out with this ongoing activity in the Northwest Pacific is the seismic silence in South America, sorry. This is Peru and this is Chile, and there is the potential of a larger seismic event, especially Peru. There have been magnitude 7 earthquakes beneath Peru and Ecuador in recent years, while Chile has been relatively quiet. There's only one magnitude 7 if you look at the last couple of years. So there is seismic potential near the coast of Peru, northern Chile, possibly, but it doesn't mean that it is imminent. I'm just pointing out that it has been relatively quiet here. While to the south we had strong major earthquakes recently at Scotia Sea and the Drake Passage. So let's have a look at what we're going to have in the coming time frame from the 18th to the 27th. We have a convergence of planetary and lunar geometry, quite a convergence, large peaks here on the 18th, and that's because of a convergence of planetary and lunar conjunctions, and they're going to be critical. Let's have a look at the solar system. We have Moon, Earth, Jupiter, a lunar opposition that happened early this morning. This is a dangerous opposition. It's followed by two planetary conjunctions, both involving Mercury, Mercury, Sun, Jupiter, and Earth, Mercury, Mars. We see that here is Jupiter, Earth, here's Mercury, and there's Mars. This is a result of the recent quintuple conjunction that we had from the 6th to the 11th. And the conjunctions here, the convergence on the 18th, that is a critical combination. We have Earth, Moon, Mars later today on the 14th. We have Earth, Moon, Mercury, and we have Earth, Moon, Venus early on the 19th. And this all happens or converges with the new moon. Most critical, in my opinion, are the two planetary conjunctions that we have here with lunar conjunction of Jupiter opposition and Mars conjunction there. This combination is really critical. We see that we have a tight convergence of conjunctions, both planetary and lunar, at the new time of the new moon. We can have considerable seismic response as a result of this configuration that could go into the mid or high 7 magnitude range, I'd say around the 20th, give or take one day, maybe already on the 19th, I'm not sure. We're probably going to see an obvious seismic response in the higher 5, borderline 6 magnitude range, but there's definitely the potential of a larger earthquake following this convergence. This is really something to keep in mind here. So pay attention, especially around the 19th, 20th. This is a dangerous convergence, tight convergence today on the 18th. Then we have convergence on the 21st, 22nd, probably not as critical. One planetary conjunction in there, Mercury, Sun, Earth. We see it here. There is Mercury here, there is the Sun, and there is Earth. We see that here in red. This is on the 21st, but we see a bunch of lunar geometries around it, mostly semi-right angle geometries, 135 degrees with Jupiter and 45 degrees with Mercury, Venus and Mars. And that will be followed by conjunctions with Saturn and with Neptune. I don't think this is extremely critical. However, the semi-right angle lunar geometry, 135 and 45 degrees, a pretty tight convergence here on the 22nd. That is probably going to result in seismic response into the higher 5 magnitude 6 range and maybe mid to high 6 around the 24th. That is my current estimate here. This is definitely a considerable convergence here around the 22nd. Then we have some convergence on the 24th, probably not as critical. Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, that's the planetary conjunction right there. But then we're going to have convergence on the 26th, a considerable convergence, and if you look at that geometry, we have semi-right angle lunar geometry with Saturn and Neptune. We have right angle geometry with Venus and Mercury, and we have two planetary conjunctions. First on the 25th, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, followed by Sun, Mercury, Venus on the 26th. A Sun, Mercury, Venus conjunction is almost always followed by a borderline low 6 magnitude earthquake. And then we have also this pair of Venus, Mercury, Neptune and Mercury, Venus, Neptune. We see that right here. They are close to the Sun. They always come in pairs, and this time here with Neptune, that combination could result in larger seismic activity. I'm not sure right now how critical this is. We have to see what seismic activity we're going to have in the coming days, especially with this critical convergence of conjunctions that we have today. Check out the website for the latest updates and also social media channels. Again, 19th, 20th, there could be a larger earthquake and that could easily reach higher, mid to high 7 magnitude. This is the update for now. Stay safe everyone, and until next time.